In today's Leeds news, Leeds Women win again, Taylor decision explained, Pukki influenced Kamara, Millwall minus skipper for Leeds clash, and Helder Costa's future. Hey folks, Jer here on the 7th of September with your Leeds United news. We'll get straight into this and we won't hang around. We'll keep this short and brief today because there's not massive stuff, just bits and pieces. So we'll crack on and get into this. We'll start off with the Leeds women's team who maintained a strong start to their season. Leeds women had another win last night which maintains their 100% start to the season. Also an impressive form last night over York City, a 3-1 win in that game, and an impressive start to the season for Jess Rossio continues as she bagged 2 more goals in her incredible start to the season, it has to be said. Also should be pointed out, Kat Smith scores a lovely volley from Paige Williams-Cross to make it 2-2 games for her as well, which has been a really encouraging start for the Leeds women's team. York did manage to pull a consolation back in the 85th minute, but a 3-1 win for Leeds keeps them moving in the right direction on a 100% start. It was a really, really good game. It was on Ledu TV last night. There's some lovely moments in that game as well and some lovely finishes. The game's highlights are available on leedsunited.com as well, so I highly recommend going and checking that out. Cracking win, really good start to the season for them. They really are setting the league on fire so far this season, so long may that continue for them. Still no update on a manager though. Maybe they don't need one. They're doing great without it. Moving on, let's talk about Charlie Taylor's situation, and Phil Hay has revealed the reasons why the much touted move from Leeds United for Charlie Taylor didn't materialise. Taylor left Leeds 6 years ago to head to Burnley and was widely tipped this summer to return to Leeds to fill in the square peg hole we've got at left back again this year. Well, it's now come out as to why, and it's come down to be pretty straightforward and pretty crystal clear. It's a simple case of Vincent Kompany not having enough cover in the left back position or centre back positions to relieve Charlie Taylor and allow him to move on. The fact that Leeds have now decided to move on without bringing in a left back in the summer transfer window may possibly be leaving the door open for a return in January should Burnley's situation with Charlie Taylor change, and should they be in a position where they get more cover in those positions, which would allow Taylor to move on. Leeds could potentially move back in January to make that move for Charlie Taylor, should they want it at that point and should it be needed. Should also point out Junior Firpo is expected to be back in contention just after the international break as well. He's been talking this week about how keen and eager he is to get playing for Leeds again. He should suit Daniel Farke's system quite well. It's a championship. I know he's not probably the best defender in the world, but he's decent going forward, and I think that would fit Daniel Farke's system really, really well. So there's still some moving parts in the left back position. We have to wait and see. Sam Byram also will be fit after the international break as well, so there's that one as well. Moving on, and let's talk about Kamara. Let's talk about Glenn Kamara. Glenn Kamara, as I said yesterday, has been talking in the media about some stuff, and he's talking again about his move to Leeds United and explaining that former Norwich City striker Teemu Pukki played a very large role in convincing the player to move to Leeds. Kamara has now revealed that the player played a massive role in this conversations between the two. Kamara said that when he spoke to Daniel Farke spoke very positively about what he had seen from Glenn Kamara and positions he played in and what he thought he could do for Leeds United, and it was a very strong case that Farke put forward. He also said then that he went to speak to Teemu Pukki, who talked incredibly positively about Daniel Farke as a manager and what Glenn Kamara could expect playing for Leeds United under Daniel Farke. And he said it made the decision a hell of a lot easier for him as well. He also said that he knows how big a club Leeds is, how passionate the fan base are, and what great history the club has. And he said when you put all that together, it made everything was right for this move for him to be made. So a very happy man with the move. It's all the right things being said here. Great to see Teemu Pukki getting involved in this and giving Leeds a little shot in the arm to help get this deal across the line with Glenn Kamara. Really excited to see what he's going to do for Leeds. I really am. Hopefully he comes back. He'll have some game time now in international duty, which he hasn't been getting at Rangers, so he could have stayed around for a couple of weeks with Leeds in training, which would have been nice to get him on board with Farke's systems. But at the same time, going off and getting some actual match practice with Finland might actually help Leeds and put us in a pretty strong position when the player returns. Moving on to game situation, and Leeds will play Millwall when they come back from international duty, and they're already looking at some situations here as well. Millwall manager Gary Rowett has been speaking this week about players, and he's been talking about injuries to the players, and there's some news have come out that will please Leeds United fans as we head into that potential game. Speaking with the South London News, he was giving an update on some injuries and Sean Hutchison's availability for the game. It is now being revealed that the Millwall skipper will miss the tie with Leeds United due to an injury, which would helped Leeds there last season when Hutchinson was out of the Millwall team. Charlie Creswell filled in quite well for him there. Not sure if they've got the same strength and depth there that they had last year, so it'll be an interesting one to see. But it's a positive move for Leeds to see one of the main players in the back line for Millwall miss the game with Leeds United after the international break. And then moving on to our final story of the day, and this one relates to Helder Costa. And at the beginning of pre-season, it was made very clear by Helder Costa to Daniel Farke that he didn't want to stay at Leeds and wanted to move out again. Daniel Farke also made it clear to Helder Costa in this meeting that he wasn't part of Farke's plans. So that was it. Straight line down the middle, clear cut. Yeah, everything's fine. Well, it is now the 7th of September and Helder Costa is still a Leeds United player and not looking likely to move anytime soon. All indications around this summer were that Costa would head back to Saudi Arabia, where he won a league title last year. Fully expected to do that. There has been other interest as well from other countries. There's interest from Qatar, Turkey, Greece and Australia in the player, but he was widely expected to go back to Saudi Arabia. The issue with this move is their transfer deadline day is today and their window closes at 10 p.m. tonight. What's the issue? Well, Helder Costa is currently in Angola on international duty, so getting across to get that move done isn't going to be straightforward if a move is to happen at all. As I said, there is still interest in him from Qatar, Turkey, Greece and Australia as well. Some of the leagues there might not appeal to him so much, but Qatar is probably an obvious choice for him. Costa had been training on his own for a little bit, and then Willie Gnonto and Sinisterra joined him, so the nice little group of three there. Sinisterra moved on, Gnonto got brought back into the main fold, and then Helder Costa moved out to train with the under-21 side with Michael Scubala's team, and has been training with them to keep his minutes sharp and to keep himself busy. The issue is now, if the deadline comes and goes tonight, what happens with the player? Well, it is now expected that if the move does not materialise, that Leeds United will come to terms with Helder Costa on a mutual termination of the contract and a severance package for the player, which would make the player a free agent to move away from Leeds. Costa is in the final year of his contract at Leeds, and his surplus to requirements isn't wanted by Leeds, and the player himself doesn't want to stay at Leeds. So a parting of the way is very obvious and clear for both parties here. So straightforward enough. Should see him move on. If he doesn't move today or tomorrow with the deadlines, chances are it'll be a released player that will go into the free transfer market then and be able to move whenever he sees fit. But coming to the end of Helder Costa's time with Leeds United, he hasn't worn a Leeds shirt in a couple of years, but he has did contribute to the promotion campaign, that should be said as well, but will leave Leeds United probably very soon for the last time. And that's going to be it for today, folks. Short one. Nothing else really floating around, so I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Leeds news. Have a great day and I'll talk to you then. See ya.